We needed every basket he could give us tonight to win the game. And let me say with Tobias, I thought tonight was why, when people talk about All-Star, he couldn't get going early, and he did everything else. He had 5 assists, 7 rebounds at halftime. He just did everything that winners do. And then the game started coming to him. So those two guys put us on their backs tonight and won the game for us.
Thank you.
Lauren Rosen. Hey, Doc, just zooming out, for Joel to have 50 and 17 tonight in a year where that doesn't feel all that surprising, what's it like to coach Joel Embiid in his prime?
Well, it gives you confidence out of timeouts. You know you can go somewhere. And what Joel was doing is great. We go to him, and tonight he scored, Lauren, but it doesn't necessarily mean he has to score. He creates scoring too, and he did that with 5 assists himself tonight. So it's good to have him on our side, I'll tell you that.
The NBA also just announced that you have earned your title as head coach of Team Durant in the All-Star game. Do you feel any differently about it, knowing that it's a real thing, or at the very least, what type of what does it say about the team that you guys are still holding down number 1?
Well, I'm trying not to get in trouble, so I guess I'm really happy for our team that we're in this position. I think I'm going to just stop there. I think that would be wise. Yeah.
Fair enough. Sorry, Coach.
All right, Paul Hudrick.
Doc, we're all rightfully going to talk a lot about Joel's offense, but those 2 blocks he had on Levine, and just kind of the way Matisse was able to kind of funnel him to Embiid all night. Just how big were both of those guys and kind of slowing him down?
Yeah, like Matisse is like the secret sauce tonight, people are going to look at his line and they're not going to see much. What did he have? 2 points. But he was so huge tonight defensively. When you can get away with not double teaming Zach LaVine in the game, which helps your defense all around the floor, it makes you a much better defensive team. Our whole thing was funnel them down. Matisse did that. I thought his length bothered him a couple of times. LaVine made one tough 3 late, but overall, on that 3, we told Matisse, make him beat you off the dribble, funnel him to Joel, stay on the sides, and use your length. And Joel was there, so both guys are huge.
Thanks, Doc.
Rick Hoffman.
Hey, Doc, you said in an earlier answer that your plan was to play Tobias with the second unit. That didn't happen in the second half, though. Why was that?
Well, because we were rolling. Sometimes you roll the dice, and both Tobias and Joel had it going at the same time. So sometimes you break your rotation. We took the gamble, it didn't work, but, you don't want – I think Tobias had made 4 in a row right when we were about to take him out. They hadn't made any shots at that point, so we just rode it.
Is there any way to find better shots with that unit?
No, you got to have, for the most part, and if Tobias hadn't played as many minutes, we would have kept him in. It really isn't, Rich. We got unit, and when we don't, sometimes you just look at the lead. Tonight was one of those games. Honestly, I was just looking at the score. You could see it's going to be one of these games where it's going to come down to an end, and that's basically we use the second unit in the second half to get to 8 minutes. That's what we're trying to do.
Thanks, Coach.
That's it. You guys are great. Thank you.
So we've got a few minutes before we get a player, most likely. Huge night for Embiid. You could tell that I think he would have liked for fans to have been there. There were certainly times he looked up to the crowd. When he rose his lifted his arms, he was sort of looking at us in the media section there at the end as he hit that last shot. And I think he's got a special connection with fans. And I think I'm guessing he would have liked for this place to have been full of 21,000 or so Sixers fans instead of a couple of hundred employees.
What's up, Jason?
Hey, what's up? The Blue Coats win?
Yeah, they won.
Wow.
Close game. Paul Reed fouled out with 5 minutes left in the fourth, and basically Brownridge had to keep him in at the end, but he did it. So Brownridge got a block, by the way.
Nice. Yeah, that's not. It's
Set.
I don't know how much of the Sixers game you saw, but
I saw Joel scored 50.
Joel scored 50. He did.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I will say, I didn't get to watch most of it, but I was trying to sneak some at the last 5 minutes of the game. I see he went 26 shots on 50. Damn.
Yeah.
17 boards. Who was guarding him? Was Wendell guarding him the whole time?
Yeah, he was, and if there was ever a guy that had a good game giving up 50 points, it was Wendell Carter Jr.
Oh,
Carter came out trying to make Embiid play one-on-one defense early on.
Really?
He had 8 points right away. They were trading buckets right in the beginning of the game. It was like a old school big man battle. Here's Marky 215. I mean, I think if you drop Joel Embiid, the current iteration of Joel Embiid, into any era of basketball, he's probably the best center in the league in that era. The game in 2021 is really built against big men. Everything is built against them. But
X.
if you drop him into the 1980s, the 1970s, he dominates at least as much, if not more. So it's really hard to compare. But when you try to compare eras, you say take that player and put them in another era, and are they just as dominant? And you put LeBron James in any era of basketball, he's every bit as good as he is today. And Embiid, I think, is exactly the same way, right? Relative to his position. I just think he's among the best I've ever seen play. I think.
Yeah. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think so, Mr. Swagu. I just don't think either of those two players are quite on Joel Embiid's level. I think he can do things that they couldn't do. I think Patrick Ewing would be an interesting case to see if he could stretch his game out to the three-point line, because he had such great feel and touch. He was a great defensive player. But I don't think he could move the way that a big man has to move in today's game to play defense. David Robinson, I don't think had the feel or touch. I think David Robinson would probably be really effective on teams in this era, just because of how fast he was. But I don't know that he could have scored at the level that we're seeing guys. We're seeing a Joel Embiid score at. This probably puts him over 30 points a game for the season right now. It's just crazy out of a center. I don't know how many centers have averaged 30 points a game for a season. It's not
Probably
many.
Shaq and
I'm not
maybe
sure
Tim.
Shaq did.
No?
Chamberlain did.
Yeah.
not sure Shaq-
Chamberlain averaged 50.
I'm not sure Shaq had a 30 year.
Centers
Yeah.
that averaged more than 30 points.
Shaq's top year 29.7. So that's the
Yeah,
bar.
he was real close.
When he was 27 years old.
I'm looking right now. That's got to be something that's on like NBA Basketball Reference.
Yeah, we know that Chamberlain did because I think he
No,
averaged
yeah.
a game.
He averaged 50 at one point.
Yeah, it's crazy. But he's playing against plumbers in the offseason.
Yeah. So I'm
Chamberlain
looking
would
at
be
the
good.
list right now. I'm looking up and down it right now to see if there's any centers.
Yeah.
Kareem
Chamberlain would be
Abdul-Jabbar.
amazing. Did he?
Yeah, he averaged 30. He averaged 30.16 in 1972. Still looking. Karl Malone, do we call him a center? I know, nah, he's power forward. Never mind. Moses Malone, 31.
Oh, wow. Moses.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1970. Wilt Chamberlain, 1965.
So those are the names we're talking about. We're talking about
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, and Moses Malone.
You're even filtering out guys.
Bob McAdoo as well. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're filtering out guys like Shaq, like Hakeem. These guys never averaged 30 points a game in their career. And quite frankly, he's doing it on insane efficiency, which is what you want out of a center. That's one of the value points of getting that much production out of the center position, because they're typically just much higher percentage shots. Swagoo says, imagine if Chamberlain played in today's game. I think he'd be great in today's game. Like he was 7'1", a high jumper, a runner. Like, he'd be fantastic in today's game.
Yeah, wasn't he one of like the most athletic guys? Like people say even nowadays that he was one of the most athletic guys I've ever seen play basketball.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now he couldn't shoot.
No, yeah, but I mean, you didn't have to back then.
Yeah, but it's weird. The game is so weird right now with the way that they can defend non-shooters. But the guy would just outrun people down the floor. He's too big, too fast.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if anyone cares, but Jamario Jones got hurt today in the Bluecoats game.
Do we know if it's serious or?
I asked Connor in the post game. He said it was just his ankle. So,
just his ankle.
I'm saying like he didn't like say whether or not he was going to be out for an extended period of time. He just said, because I noticed he was out of the game early, like he just didn't come back in, and there was no real fuss about it. No one, not even announcers, really say anything about it, which kind of surprised me. But yeah, so they got out rebounded 42-30, and like Paul Reed fouled out with 5 minutes left, and Jamario Jones was out for most of the game. Jamario Jones is averaging 11 rebounds. Paul Reed's averaging like 17, and I think Paul Reed ended with like close to 10, I think, and he's averaging around like the 15 mark. So like, yeah, that's where those rebounds went.
Wow.
Game got close too. Brought it down to the wire. They ended up only winning 130-127.
So who was the closer?
Who was the closer?
Yeah. Who scored in the last 2 minutes?
Brownridge scored some. Tucker had a little bit. Bone had some free throws at the end.
Okay.
But really, like it was pretty much win by committee at the end. Usually it'd be Paul Reed at the end right there, but they weren't able to do much because the Nets were doing a really good job guarding them around the rim, so they pretty much just had to hit outside shots to win the game.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just taking it to him offensively again at the rim, just scoring at will because Paul Reed wasn't in there.
They play 3:30 on Monday. Is that right?
They play on Sunday at some point. I don't know. I don't know what time it is, but I know they play on Sunday because they said that.
I've got to be in Tampa for the game on Sunday.
I'm looking. Hold on. It is. Yeah, they play Sunday at 7 and then Monday at 3:30.
So here's Doc Rivers will be the coach of the Eastern Conference All-Stars. He is not happy about it. He joked before the game and after. He said he would much rather play golf over the All-Star weekend. So he even joked earlier that he would like for whoever wins that honor to be able to pick who has to go coach that team. So it doesn't sound like coaches love the All-Star game maybe as much as it's a huge honor for players, but
I don't even think players sometimes like it. I think players are some, like at somewhere they're like, you know what, I just want to go home and chill with my family for a little bit. God
yeah. Nasty. No, I'm traveling separately, but I'll be there for the game on Sunday.
No. He's fine with the team. He's fine with the team.
No, not doing that.
Him and Doc Rivers are buds.
Not buds. No, I'm not comfortable enough to go into a Zoom from bed yet. I haven't reached that level of status.
Oh man, that was funny. You have to do that now just so you get some more publicity like him.
Been done. It's been done.
Been done. No longer.
Been done.
Now you got to do it on the toilet. That'll get you some publicity. That'll get you some
flush.
Hey, the camera sees you just flush it in the background. That'll get you some for sure.
Wow, I need to send you some swag for your concrete wall.
Oh, listen, dude, I could be using the opposite concrete wall, but I'm trying to be more neutral.
Okay.
I didn't want to have it be. I have an Eagles jersey and a Sixers jersey behind me, so
good for
I
you.
decided I'd rather just have the concrete wall
than professional. I like it.
Have decorations behind me.
Very good.
Appreciate it. But yeah. So today I asked Connor about rebounding because the rebounding was bad, and the Jamario Jones, and he told me about the ankle injury, and then I asked Brownridge about his block. Because he was very excited when I asked him the question. I was like,
awesome.
So you got the block early. He's like, yeah, man, don't get him very often, but I got one.
Marky Mark, this is a great question. So I was at so scoring performances are interesting. I think it's hard to relate this one because there were no fans here. So there were just so many times, really from the first quarter on, where he would do something and I would shake my head just like, that's ridiculous. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. That just shouldn't be a thing that people do. You shouldn't be able to even try that in a game. How dare you? There was one late in the game where he didn't score. I think he actually got blocked on this. But like it's like a 3-point game, 2-point game. There's like 3 minutes left. Ball goes below his waist. Guys start diving at it. He dribbles behind his back, then through his legs, then spins and go. And I'm thinking, like, how dare you even try that in in the fourth quarter? And it's like you get that feeling like the audacity to even attempt this, and then
he's like that, man. He's like that.
Crazy. It's crazy amount.
Yo, real quick question.
But what I would say is the Iverson performances, especially the first game of the playoffs, his first playoff game against Orlando, I believe he had 10 steals in that game. And I've never heard anything as loud as that. Never at a rock concert ever have I heard an arena as loud as this building was that night. And there was just an energy that I think having someone perform that way in that situation after so many years of the valley of death between the Charles Barkley era and the Iverson era, I think that night was just probably the most electric I've ever seen. Justin, is that a Pop-Tart?
No, there's a cookie.
Okay.
Good.
Wow.
But no, I was gonna ask you a question.
Yep.
Who was guarding Levine? Because Levine went 9 for 28.
Thybulle. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Rock talked about what a luxury it was to be able to not have to double Levine tonight, and Yeah, so Andy, we are basically waiting for the Sixers players. Doc Rivers talked a few minutes ago. We are just shooting the shit between Sixers players now. We'll get them. This is part of the post-game process for us after every game. Essentially, normally when it's not a pandemic, we'd be down in the press conference room waiting. Or we'd be running back and forth between the locker room. We're not allowed to be in the locker room, so we basically come out to the hallway and jump on a Zoom call. So Justin is with us. He just covered the Blue Coats game, so we did double duty tonight.
Yes, sir.
That's how we roll. We're the two-way outlet. We give you the whole blue route, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, Andy, just hang out with us. We'll talk, and then as the players come on, we'll go to them.
And if anyone wants to hear anything Blue Coats, let me know in the comments because I know this is a Sixers one, so I won't talk about it if y'all don't want to hear about it. But I do want to talk about Matisse Thybulle, though, because that's impressive as hell. Him holding – I mean, mind you, Levine still had 30 points, but when he scores 30 points on 28 shots, that's ridiculous.
I agree.
And he scored 60 points on less shots than that.
Yeah, I can bring up his shot chart if you want because I
Yeah,
have
go ahead.
Well, I spent most of the game writing like sort of a thought experiment with the way Daryl Morey, because I was on a Clubhouse call with Daryl Morey yesterday where he talked about trade negotiations and how he approaches.
Tobias Harris will be next.
We've got Tobias coming up. So I just downloaded the Zach LaVine shot chart, but I spent all night writing basically different ways, different packages that Morey could theoretically present to Mark Eversley for a LaVine trade. So I was watching LaVine a lot tonight, and Thybulle really was the secret sauce, like Doc Rivers said, to limiting everyone else because they didn't have to double LaVine.
Yeah, dude, that's super impressive.
Sheb, Tobias any minute. So, yeah, I think that when it comes to this is an entertainment product, marquee, and it's hard to name many players who are more entertaining night after night, minute after minute than Allen Iverson. Here's Tobias.
All right, we'll get started with Lauren Rosen.
Hey, Tobias. Doc just told us that nights like tonight are what should make you an all-star. He said that you did everything that winners do tonight. Can you tell me a little bit about your mindset when a couple of your teammates were struggling, but you and Joel really put the team on your back?
Yeah, just that mentality, winning mentality all night. And on top of that, just being there for my teammates. I know that the guys in the locker room trust me to make plays and to be smart out there and to help lead us to a victory. So, fourth quarter, when that time comes, every game, it's just a locked-in focus on it's time to win. This is winning time right now. Let's make plays. Let's pick the energy up, use my voice to help lead us out there. It always helps when you got a guy like Joel, but it's just a mentality I have. Try to give my all every single night and be there for my guys.
Joel also had his first 50-point game tonight. What's it like to play with Joel Embiid in his prime?
Oh man, it's an honor, really. I mean, when you look at a guy like that, how dominant he is on the floor, and just his ability to make plays and to score out there. I'll tell my kids one day I was playing with Joel Embiid, and when they ask who's the best player you play with, I said it's Joel Embiid. So, it's an honor to be out there with him on the floor.
Okay, over to Tom Moore.
Yes, Tobias, you've clearly put in a lot of work that's paying off for you on the court this season, but how much credit do you give Doc just for finding ways to really take advantage of your strengths and your skill set this year?
A huge amount of credit. I think, Doc he's been, always a coach that able to find ways for me to be effective. Keeps the game simple for myself. And I think, on top of Doc being such a good coach, putting myself in the positions, his staff, all in all, has been able to help me get better out there. I mean, me and Sam Cassell talk on a daily of different ways to be better in those positions, and that has helped me get better throughout the season, game after game. So, I got to give credit there too. But it's good to be in the flow and the rhythm that I'm in, and just want to keep it going.
Thank you.
Yep.
Rich Hoffman.
Yeah, Tobias, whether it was your rebounding tonight or some of those drives where you really took a lot of contact, what degree does physicality play in your game?
It's a major part of the game. I think when you look at different guys who are matched up with me, it's either I'm taller than them or stronger, or faster. So I try to just use one of those every night. But it's physicality is definitely a thing in my game, and I take care of my body in a great way. I'm always cognizant of my sleep, my recovery, my rest, to be able to give it a go every single night at a high level. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to be that physical on the floor too.
Is that harder than it looks? Keeping track of your body after banging all night with other players.
Yeah. I mean, it's a full-time job, so be ready every single night. But I've been doing it for my whole career. But it's a 24-hour thing. If you were to see some of my off days of what I'm doing and the hours that I'm putting in just to be ready to be able to withstand a long season, now you'd probably be surprised at that. But that's what I'm about. And as I said, I just want to be ready and help our team win every night.
Paul Hudrick.
Hey, Tobias, we talked a ton about Matisse's defense all throughout the season, but tonight, just the job he did on Zach and kind of funneling him into Joel all night, and just how good he was in limiting him.
Yeah, I mean, you saw on full display what he's capable of doing. I mean, we've been seeing it all year, and I think he definitely gets up for the bigger matchups with guys that are rolling. Then he's everywhere on the floor defensively. He's got such quick hands to be able to get in guys' space and cause havoc. And as he continues to use his defensive skills, it's only going to push him offensively to be able to get in those spots. I can see he's getting more confident with letting it go and shooting it too. So, we're going to need Matisse all year long, especially in big games versus big-time players.
Thanks, Tobias.
Yeah.
All right, last two, Austin Krell.
Hey, Tobias, as you can see, same background as the last time. But
I got you.
Yeah. So, tonight with Embiid gets his 50, and, they went to you more in the third quarter. I'm curious as to, how do you go about sort of balancing those touches? That way you're feeding the hot hand clearly, but you're also spreading the ball and moving it around organically.
Yeah, I mean, with me and Joel, we kind of just go off each other. If he gets it down there and he scores, it's automatic. Let's go right back to him. And sometimes, he's such a good player at drawing fouls that it's able to stop the other team's rhythm. So for me, sometimes I'm calling those plays to get him the ball because I know that the way the game is going, the rhythm of how they're playing, and if they're making shots, it's like, let's get the ball in the post, slow it down a little bit, get into the free throw line. So just we go off each other on the floor and let them make plays.
Jason Blevins.
Yeah, Tobias, on that point, you guys are playing a lot of sort of high-low. Either one of you could be high or low. is this like a chemistry building night, or is this a night where we sort of see no Ben Simmons, so the two of you are showing the results of chemistry that maybe you had to build last year?
Yeah, I think tonight was definitely one of a chemistry night with myself and Joel, just in the isolation situations of giving each other space. And, I know if I get the ball on the post and Joel is space, that takes a shot block out of the picture there. And vice versa, where guys are going to leave to go double him off me there. So I would say kind of a chemistry thing, but at the same time, we know when we're all out there, it's a balance of how we got to play off each other and distribute the basketball. So we're all able to use our attributes as players to be successful. So, we're always trying to figure out ways to be better. I think, you saw in the Utah game, the two-man action with me and Ben, and then you see tonight, me and Joel, and, we're learning. We're continuing to learn out there on the fly. You don't get many practices with this type of season, so you got to use any opportunity to really work on your stuff.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You were playing about playing point right there. You are. Oh, man. Win the ball.
I love that man. He is one of the probably the best thing that could have happened when it comes to just like the kind of mentality he has.
Yeah, it's funny. I just had to text Austin that he stole my question. So
oh really?
Yeah, the last place you want to be is last in a player's availability, because all of the questions have been asked. Yep. And I thought I might be able to sneak in that question there.
Yeah.
Austin took it right before me. So
Matisse Thybulle will be next.
That was me improvising, trying to ask the same question in a different way.
I hear you.
So
that happened to me a lot in my first availability.
Yeah.
With like when it was like the first availability of the season for the Blue Coats, and I was trying. I literally had like 4 questions written down for everything, and everything got asked, and they never called on me for anything. I was like, now of course there's only like 10 people in each Blue Coats Zoom call, and I'm getting like the first question every time. So I'm like, yes.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about it. So I think Markkanen, if he stays healthy, he's like the perfect theoretical fit on this. I agree with that. He's a player that if they're able to make something work, maybe they can make something work with that trade exception, because he does make less than, I think, the Al Horford trade exception that's created. So I don't know how a Markkanen deal could work. It could work as part of a Levine trade. I do think he's available, but the question is, how many assets do you give up for a guy that, there's a pretty significant chance he could just be hurt when you need him most.
That's kind of my thought on things with him too. And although he is like ideally, if you really think about it, a nice fit, my thought is, I would almost rather go out and get a guy who's going to be a little bit cheaper, not only for like draft capital wise, but also like contract wise, like going out and getting a guy like Bielitsa, who he's older and he's on a 1-year deal. His value is super low. Like he's shooting like under 30%, but he's a 39% average 3-point shooter. So like, I would so much rather go after a guy like that who, if in the right role, is going to play well, instead of a younger guy who they're going to want more assets for him. It just in that role specifically, just because that's not a huge role for this team, if you know what I mean by that.
Totally. Back to your point on Tobias before I cut you off. I think you're exactly right. He is he's an authentic leader for this team. He really does get the young guys organized. He preaches how to be a pro for young guys that are early in the league. He's a really, people were really tough on him about that contract. I've gone on and on about why it shouldn't matter whether you got 25 million or 35 million. It doesn't really matter to anyone other than Josh Harris. But he's a good player, and you see on a night like tonight when you don't have a Ben Simmons, that Embiid needed a second guy, and Tobias, when it was time, stepped up and became that second guy. So shout out to Austin Krell for asking the right question. He was at the very end. He asked the right question.
Yeah, you know what else I really loved about Tobias's answers there though, and I actually tweeted it out. He said about Joel Embiid and how he is playing in his prime. He said he's the best player I've ever played with. It's an honor to be out there on the court, on the floor with him. I'll
tell my kids someday that I played with
Joel
Embiid.
Yep. He's like, to me, that his kind of leadership and his kind of teammate ability with this group of guys is exactly what especially Ben Simmons needs, because obviously Jimmy Butler and Joel got along really well. They loved being around each other. But I think Tobias ultimately, for just the team, the whole team itself, has such a better leader quality for this group of guys. You touched on it with the young guys. Mm-hmm. I think that's super important, especially considering in the past few years we haven't gotten as much out of our young guys. So having a guy who's able to bring that out of people and make them feel comfortable being there, I think it's just you just love to see that. You love to see it. Plus, then we also have guys who are vets that can talk to vets too. You know what I mean? It's just great. I love it. I'm so excited about this team.
Yeah, it's an interesting team because it lives right on the edge of looking like a juggernaut, and then other times looking completely flawed for a playoff run. So they're not a finished product.
And it's really about the role players at this point though, because your main guys, and this was the big issue before though. In years past, it was they couldn't find the right combination of the big three or what they wanted to do with Ben and Joel and their offense. It's now they've found what offense works. Now it's just finding the cogs in the offense that are going to keep it running smoothly. And I think that's the main issue is there's role players on our team right now that aren't consistent enough in their roles. And if you can bring in some guys that are going to be consistent, a little bit more consistent in those roles, this team's going to go off. And I think that's been I think we've seen that since the beginning of the season.
Yeah. I think one moment I thought was really good tonight was Seth Curry, who had a terrible game. Okay. He came down and shot the ball 3 times in a row while being at mid-range shots, bad shots.
Yeah.
Because he was just no, I'm going to come down and get a bucket. I need to get over this. And what he didn't do is what a lot of players would do is feel like it's not their night and just turtle up and stop trying.
Yeah.
He went the other way. We talked about Joel's audacity. I thought it was the height of audacity in a game where Seth was shooting so poorly to come down 3 times in a row and do pull up mid-range shots, because he was just committed to getting out of that funk.
Yeah, this is a pretty good comment from Andy here, and I think everyone can agree on that. He would really be a perfect fit on this team, with whether it's because of his defense, playing 5 position, running with Ben down the court if at a stretch 5 role, or just whether or not he's running the backup 4 with Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey at the guard spots. He would fit very, very well on this team. It's just I don't think for what he's worth and how good he is, I don't know if you want to give up the amount of assets that the Rockets are asking for.
I don't know what they're asking for. I try to think about what he does in a series against the Nets, and I'm not sure the answer to that.
The rumors for him were a first-round pick.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. And that now, mind you, that was a little bit ago, so I don't know how strong they are now, but I think the most I would give up for him pick-wise would be 2 seconds. So it's
I
like,
think that's too much, honestly.
and that's what I'm saying. That's
I think
that's
guys,
the most.
yeah, I think non-stars are so scheme dependent and fit dependent on the players around them that you can't just assume that you're going to plug one into a different situation, especially when they don't have Tobias just talked about having a size, speed, or strength advantage basically against anyone else he goes against. PJ Tucker just doesn't have that, right? So when guys don't have a size, strength, or speed advantage at their position, I just worry that they are so fit dependent that giving up anything significant for them is really, really risky.
And that makes sense. But my only argument against that is that, and it's not really an argument against it. I'm agreeing with you, but my double down to what I'm saying is like the fit I think works out really well because this team is so good at getting corner threes, especially at that power forward spot. You see you see Harris get a decent amount of corner shots at that power forward spot in the starting lineup. And you also will see Scott get them too when he was playing prior to him getting injured.
Yeah.
So my whole thought with that is if PJ Tucker is one of the best corner three-point shooters in the league, and he's been that for the past however long he's been on the Rockets now, I really think that he fits that role perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
So I don't know. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of audacity and corner threes, Embiid ignored Danny Green.
I saw that.
You saw that play?
Yep, I saw it because there was a highlight. I had the Blue Coats game here.
Yeah.
And then I have a TV over here.
Okay.
And I had that going over there. So I looked over.
The camera caught that.
I looked over and I saw the highlight and I was like, what the hell? Pass the ball. And then he made it.
Yeah, it was wild. It was the height of like just waving a guy. That is the right pass.
Mm-hmm.
And but you could tell like on that last bucket that Embiid got, there was just no doubt in his mind that he was just like, everyone get out of my way. And here's Matisse.
All right, we're going to get started with Lauren Rosen.
Hey, Matisse, this is a longer question, so just bear with me. I apologize. You'll be fine. When Tobias talked to us just now, he told us that when his kids ask him who the best player he ever played with was, he's going to say Joel Embiid. Joel is a guy who has been extremely complimentary of you and your skills all season long, talking about how you could be one of the best defensive players in this league. So, knowing that, what does it mean that Joel is having the historic season that he's having, and he really is relying on you as an ally and someone that he respects to get this type of thing done?
I mean, I think, for one, it just shows how humble he is. And then also just, he knows just as well as everyone that we need each other. And the same way Tobias says that Joe's the best player he's played with, Tobias is putting on an amazing display this season. And the performances that we get from these guys night in and night out, especially Joe, is obviously what we need to win. And Joe's just taken that to a level I don't think anyone was really prepared for. And he's doing a great job.
One more, because you told us this story, you're probably going to have to talk about it every time you play Zach LaVine for the rest of your career. But having had your sort of breakout performance as a high school player against LaVine, what's it like to play against him now and sort of grow together? I know you guys had a little moment after the game, so what's it been like to continue to face off against him?
I mean, it's always cool to see, just to see guys that you grew up with make it to NBA, and then just for me to have made it and he's made it, and for him to be playing at the level he's playing at, it's cool just because we remember where we came from. I remember the first time I watched Zach play at Bothell High School when I was I don't even think I was a freshman yet. I might have been in middle school. We're watching this kid and he's dunking on fast breaks. We're going bananas. And now it's I'm getting out there and my job is to try and shut him down. And it's cool to see how things go full circle. But yeah, I'm really happy for him in the season he's been having.
Thank you, Matisse.
Let's go to Paul Hudrick.
Hey, Matisse. Tobias just mentioned too that he kind of knows that you get up for these kind of matchups, whether it's a guy like Levine or just any other kind of high-profile player that you really get up for those matchups. Is that true, first of all? And then also, how does it feel to just have, kind of piggybacking off Lauren's question, the confidence of a guy like Tobias who says they're going to need you for big games and big matchups down the stretch?
Every night's a new guy, and it's a new assignment. I wouldn't say that I pick, like, there aren't matchups, there aren't guys that I really get more excited for or others. It's all a challenge, and it's all something I'm trying to do my best to just help the team win and whatever's expected from me.
Thanks.
Let's go to Keith Pompey.
Hey, sorry about that, Matisse. Matisse, you played against one of the guys today. You played against a lot of NBA guys in high school and then in the summer leagues and stuff like that back in Seattle. What separates Joel from all the other players that you played against?
It really just feels like he's unstoppable. And it's hard to really know because we're not trying to stop him. We're just trying to feed the beast. But just going into a game knowing that this team knows that my man's averaging 30 plus a game and they're trying to make sure he doesn't, but night in and night out he does. It's just, you start to think that maybe there's just no answer for him.
Thank you, man.
Sean Bernard.
Hey, Matisse. Obviously, you're known as like a defensive stopper, and that's your role on the team. What do you think it is about your play specifically that sets you apart in that area? And what are specific things that you're looking for against a guy in a matchup?
For me, I've had a knack for just getting in passing lanes, getting deflections, and for some reason blocking jump shots, and just trying to be as consistent as possible, and all within staying solid and staying true to like our defensive scheme. When it comes to matchups, we scout heavily. I'm aware of guys' tendencies and what they're trying to do, what they don't want to do, and then just trying to act accordingly.
Austin Krell.
Hey, Matisse. Tonight, 2 points, one steal, 3 blocks in 37 minutes. Do you take like a special pride in having that impact beyond the box score that people don't always see?
Yeah, I think it's at this point. I hope it's obvious that I take pride in winning, and if me being on the court plays a role in us getting a win, then I'm proud regardless of what my numbers are. And I just my goal at the end of each game is just come off the court feeling like I had an impact on the game that helped us win.
Thanks, Matisse.
So, yep.
All right, good stuff from Matisse. Let me just stop my transcriber. He gave us some gold there. Thoughts, Justin?
No, I was gonna say, like, so the thing I took away from that is as soon as that they asked about how he felt. I think it was Keith asked how he felt about Embiid. He was just like, I think he's unstoppable. Like that just hit me right there. Like that hit me. I was like, you're talking about one of the best defenders in the league right now, and literally, Matisse Thybulle is the 10th rated defender in deflections in the league right now, and he's first if you put his per 36 numbers up. Talk about a guy who guards some of the best perimeter players in the league, and he's saying that he looks at him and he's just like, dude, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't do anything.
Yeah, and I think he's the type of player that would give Joel, I think, problems as a help double.
Oh, definitely.
So to hear him say it, I think you're right. It hammers home the point, right? When a back to the basket guy can't, you can double a guy like that. When he turns into a face-up, shooter, it's just not really possible to double team a guy when he's facing up and putting 18 footers in your face. It's just not on the table. So when he can start to mix and match those things, I think he got 17 rebounds tonight. Like there's really no answer for that, because before, when he was predictable, where he got most of his points down low, and you could send wave after wave of doubles from multiple angles so that he couldn't get used to it and anticipate it and pass out of it. But now he's sort of dictating what options the defense even has, by being willing to face up and just knock 60+% from anywhere on the field. It's a helpless feeling. Like, I can shoot mid-range jumpers at 65%, 60%, and draw fouls on those, which is what most people can't do. There's really just limits your options as an opposing defense.
I just would not want to, like, can you imagine having to be like I literally can't pick anybody in NBA history that I would say, okay, you put him on him, he's going to be able to guard him well.
Yeah.
Like the only person you could maybe say is like a guy like Shaq, who's going to be super physical. But
Yeah,
like even then, like this year, that's what Marc Gasol, guys like Marc Gasol have done from early in his career, and we've already seen this year him going up against Marc Gasol and going up against guys who are going to try to punish you.
Yep.
Are like you've already seen that he's capable of getting past that now, not only based off his athleticism, but just based on mind, like understanding he's going to go at it. And I don't care if you put Bill Russell or Wilt on him; they're both 6'9". He's
No, Wilt was 7'1".
Okay, sorry. Bill Russell's 6'9".
Wilt's insane. Like Russell was 6'9". Yeah,
I saw Russell first, then I saw Wilt, and I just kept talking.
Yeah.
But no, like that's like it's just crazy to me, man. Like like I don't know who you put on him that's going to legitimately give him a huge problem.
Yeah, I think that the number of guys that are big enough to keep a hand in his face and defend the face up, and fast enough to keep up with him. It just, those two filters alone create just so few players left. So I agree with you with Bill Russell. I think he's just too small. I don't think. I think he's not a guy. He would be an interesting matchup. He might be a guy that could frustrate him because he was smaller and might be a little bit quicker to not get beat off the dribble. Yeah, big country. Big country Reeves.
Joel Embiid will be next.
Here he comes. The apparent unstoppable man himself, according to Matisse Thybulle. Hey guys, do us a favor, by the way, while he's coming on here, share our stream, bro. Like this, like no one else is giving you this kind of stuff, for real. Like the video, share it. No one else is giving you this live post game material like Jason Blevins is right now.
All right, let's get started with Noah Levick.
Hey, Joel, when you hit that shot to basically seal the game and you sort of lifted your arms up as if there were fans there, what was going through your head and what were you feeling?
Fans are always there for me, when I play. And I always mention that, playing in Philly, I have a lot of pride and I play for the fans and I play for the city. And, all my goals when it comes to basketball are related to the city of Philadelphia. So I always feel like, they're here with us even though they're not. I always feel their presence.
Let's go to Kai Carlin.
Hey, Joe, it just kind of seems like these games for you, man, are just kind of regular for you at this point. Like, what has really been the source of your success this season?
I mean, I don't know. It just feels like the game has slowed down for me. Last year, I'll say, the only difference from this year and last year is not so much about coaching. It's more about me being willing to, just dominate every single minute that I'm on the floor. Last year, I was going through a rough time. It was just not there. And then also, the moves that, Daryl made, adding all that shooting is also helping a lot. But like I said, it's not so much about coaching. It's just about me, just turning a corner and just being willing to, dominate every segment on defense and on offense.
Thank you, Joe.
Let's go to Keith.
But Joel, with that being said, do you ever, after a game, do you amaze yourself saying, "Dang, I got 50 and 17"?
No, one thing, the great Sonny Hill always told me, and we used to talk all the time, after games and before games, and, with COVID, that's not possible. He used to always tell me, can't get too high, can't get too low. Sometimes I have big games. It just feels like, the past 15 or 20 games, it's just been, all big games and all big numbers. But if that's what's needed for me, then I'm gonna do it. But like I said, it's just basketball. I play to win. So whatever it takes, if it's me having to set screens and get guys open, passing the ball and running the offense like I did last game, and I had 9 assists, that's what I'm going to do. If it's, dominant and, just scoring, that's what I'm going to do. But I care more about the defensive end, and I'm pretty happy about what we did tonight because defensively we haven't been good the past couple of games. My goal is to be the defensive player of the year. So I care more about that end, and I'm happy that we did a better job tonight.
Okay, and the follow-up question, I know you talked about, you do it for the fans and the fans are still here. You've been to a couple arenas recently where they had fans. What is it going to be like for you when you guys have fans in here in the Wells Fargo Center?
It's going to be fun. Hopefully soon, as long as, everybody stays healthy and all the conditions are met for that to happen. Lately we played in Utah, we played in Phoenix. They have fans. It almost felt like it was full at times. It was great. The energy was great. And it's a different story in Philadelphia. They care and, they're going to come to games and they're going to boo you. They're going to cheer for you. But at the end of the day, it's all love.
Thank you.
All right, Mark Narducci.
Joel, when you have a night like this, was there a point early in the game that you felt that this could be even more than the usual kind of damage that you do?
Every single night I feel the same way. I was kind of, what got me even more going. I was pissed off that, Carter, Wendell had, he had a quick 8-10 points. And, I take part in, defense and my defense and the team defense. And, I just needed to, play better defense and then also go on the other end and, get him in foul trouble or just score on them, just with the team. And that's what we did as a group.
Let's go to Paul Hudrick.
Hey, Joel, you mentioned the defensive end, and Doc talked to us about the strategy for Zach LaVine and, Matisse kind of funneling him to you. How were you guys kind of able to execute that and kind of slow Zach down tonight?
I said the other night that, Matisse has he has a chance to be the best perimeter defensive player in the league. And, it showed that tonight. Zach is a great player. He's been fantastic all year. I think he should be an all-star. He deserves it. But looking at the stat sheet, I see 9 for 28, and that's all Matisse. He did a great job on them, and he's one of our best defensive players, and we're gonna put him on the other team's best players, and he did a great job.
Thanks, Joel.
Let's go to Jason Blevins.
Hey, Joel, coaches really don't push the mid-range face-up game anymore. But how important has that been for you to sort of keep teams from just attacking you in doubles in the post and making them not have just predictable angles to attack you from?
I think that's what makes me unguardable. If you're gonna crowd me, I'm gonna find my way to the free throw line, or I'm gonna end up on the basket. And if you're gonna back up on me, I got that hesitation shot, and I also got my favorite, just pull up shot, just an easy shot that I always get on the post. So. It's hard when you got that much, and also off the dribble, just dribbling the ball and just making things happen. And I've been adding a lot to my game, and it's been working well. And but I'm excited because that's what you need in the playoffs, especially when you're gonna play a team 4 to 7 times, and they're gonna game plan. You need sometimes, I'm gonna have to shoot over double teams. Sometimes. I got to pass it. Sometimes I got to figure it out how to play through doubles and triple teams. And, those type of shots, you can't guard it. You can't guard a step back. You can't just guard a catch and shoot shot. So I think he's going to go a long way. And but I think also those shots is going to help me also play for the next 10 to 15 years.
Thank you.
All right, last one, Chris Krause.
Hey, Joel, nights like tonight, 50 points, kind of shows your greatness and shows why you belong in the MVP race. Is this something that's on your mind? I know you said before winning matters most, but on great nights like tonight, it has to be one of the things that is right there, kind of in your mind.
My main goal, and it's always been since I got to the league, is just being the defensive player of the year. That's what I focus on. And then on the offensive end, I just do what I have to do. And like I always say, you can't be in those conversations if you don't have one of the best defensive teams in the league, or if you're not winning games, you can't be in the MVP conversation. We've been doing a lot of that, and I'm thankful for my teammates for helping me. And also, putting me in positions to just succeed and dominate. And when you combine the both of them, team success and whatever, I've been doing the whole season, and then you get the chance to be in those type of conversations. And I'm not too focused on that. I just know that as long as we keep winning, I have a great shot at it. I just focus on winning because, my goals are, to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Thanks, Joel.
And MVP.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
He just snuck in an MVP.
Yeah, I saw that. I think. Wait, are you muted, Jason? Okay, yeah, you're muted. I'm making sure you're muted. I couldn't tell if you were muted in the Zoom for a second there.
Oh yeah, I'm muted in Zoom. I always do.
Yeah.
At the end. That was he loves sneaking in that last little bit.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate. I thought my question really would have been you raised your hand at the very beginning. Justin knows that.
Sir.
You have to prepare some answers, and as they get asked, you have to prepare new ones. We talked about the face-up game, right? And we talked about how that makes it so hard for teams to build a defensive game plan around him. And I think he gave a really good answer.
Thanks,
there.
everyone. That's it for tonight.
All right. So final thoughts, Justin, before we go. I'm freezing in here. I think they turned the heat on a couple hours ago. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to be on my way to Florida. You will see me for games versus the Raptors over the next few days. So we'll try to do this for those games as well from the arena down there. Final thoughts? Historic night?
I think just Philly, stay appreciative of the things you got going on right now. Right now, you got an MVP candidate, Hall of Fame level candidate player in your locker room. You probably got two of them in your locker room right now. And best team in the East, probably have a good chance of coming out of the East right now. And you even got a G League team. I'm going to throw this in here. That is still undefeated, the last undefeated team in the G League at 6-0. With a really exciting Paul Reed that's down there at the power forward spot, and he is looking great from 3-point territory right now. So
there you go. Hey, listen, Marky. Sonny Hill. Joel talked about Sonny Hill in the locker room. Absolutely true. Every game, Sonny would talk with Joel. Sonny basically every home game would be here. Haven't seen him this year, but just an institution that no one's going to say no when Sonny wants to go to the locker room. And I've talked with Sonny Hill about the comparisons with Wilt Chamberlain because he's seen both, and he says some really interesting things. But Sonny is absolutely an institution that I think we need to get, as much as we need fans back in here, we need to get people, just the different people you see here that tie the Philadelphia sports eras together. Sonny Hill is one of those people. And quite frankly, so is Howard Eskin, as much as people complain about him, for very different reasons.
Yep.
But those are the kind of people that you don't see. You just don't have that cast of people that make Philadelphia such an interesting sports culture. Those people are really important to get back here as well. So I will tell you, absolutely, one of the first things I noticed the first time I was in a locker room with Joel Embiid, Sonny Hill was sitting next to him in his ear, and Joel just sat and listened for 10, 15 minutes while I still don't know what Sonny talks to him about, but 10, 15 minutes every game. So that is definitely a voice in his ear for sure. All right.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Look, we had nearly 100 people here. We still got nearly 90, but I got to go home. I'm gonna drive home. It's cold and I'm freezing. So we will talk.
If you want to hop off real quick, I can outro because I know you want to get out of here.
All right, cool. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep. All right, guys. That was Jason Blevins, our NBA beat reporter for the Sixers. We appreciate you guys sticking with us for the interviews. Listen, if y'all want them, go tweet at Jason, go tweet at me, and we will make it happen if we can. We really like having these conversations with you guys and just being able to be here and do this stuff. We love it. So Make sure you stick around. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Please go check out our website at thepaintedlines.com, where we have articles out there that Jason writes, and so does Austin Krell, and all kinds of other stuff. So if you want Sixers, if you like anything Philly, go check that out. If you like the Blue Coats, go check me out on Twitter at J_Persichetti. And if you want to watch the Blue Coats games, they're 6-0. Go follow them on Facebook. They stream most of their games on Facebook there and on ESPN Plus. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys. Like I said, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, please, and we will see you next time. Peace.